Hi, I'm Katie. I'm a professional makeup artist and I am here with makeup tutorials to help you get better at doing your own makeup. In today's video, I felt like playing a little, so if you'd like to get ready with me and see how I create this look, just keep on watching. So today I just felt like playing. I felt like I needed some me time and to play, so I thought I would record a little get ready with me and play with some things that I have in my collection. So, you know, there's nothing really new here. Some of these things are new-ish, but most of them are just things that I love and things that I have in my collection. I'll go through what they are and link them if they're still available and, you know, how I use them and just talk you through kind of a what I like to do kind of for an everyday fun look that's not a I have 5 minutes and I gotta rush out the door kind of thing. So yeah, let's just get going. So I've got I have my skincare on, my sunscreen is on. I like to tint my sunscreen. I use the number 7 color drops to tint my sunscreen. It's like a very thin, like the Cover FX liquid foundation drops. I put a few drops of that into my sunscreen to tint my sunscreen. Because if I end up doing no makeup, then I've got, you know, just a little evening out, you know, and if I do go out now, I'm wearing a mask. So not that it matters too much anyway. So, to get started, my skin is prepped and I don't usually use a primer. They don't really do anything for me. I don't have texture that I need to even out or minimize. My pores are fine. You know, they don't really stand out or anything. So I haven't found a primer per se that makes my makeup last longer. If I want something that will really make it last, I will use a setting spray before I put my makeup on to help the makeup last. It works like an adhesive to just grab the makeup and just hold it on even longer. And today I thought that it would be fun to kind of do this. I have this new setting mist. This is by Collab. This is called the Grand Finale 3-in-1 Hydrating Makeup Setting Mist. Prime, Set, and Revitalize with peach and ginseng extract. And I've really been enjoying this one. I'll have to look up how much it is and I'll link it down below for you. But this is Collab, the one, that's the brand that they sell at Sally Beauty. And they really have some nice things for not too high a price point. So I'm going to start with this. So I'm just going to spray this lightly on my face, just to start my makeup, because I feel like it. Right? And then I'm going to help that dry here a little bit with my little fan. Just makes it go a little faster. You don't have to have a fan. You can just sit there and use your hand, wait for it to dry. But this feels good, right? Okay, and then I'm going to put on my eye primer. This is the one primer that I do believe that everybody should use every day, and I do use one every day that I put on eyeshadow. My favorite one is the NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. They do make a non-tinted one, but I like the tinted one because I do have discoloration on my lids. If you can see there, I know sometimes people think, oh, look at that, you can see it, but sometimes you can't see it in the video, right? So I do have, you can see the veining on my lids and there's some discoloration there, and I just like to even everything out so I have a nice blank canvas, an even colored canvas to play with my eyeshadows to then color on my eyes, right? So I'm just a little swipe. You don't need a whole lot. And you can blend it with your fingers, focusing mostly on the lid. I like to get it under 2 for any liner or shadow I end up putting there. And I also bring it up to my brows because as you can see, I have barely any brows. They're fairly sparse and they're very light colored. So I do draw in my brows. So I find that a little bit of a primer just helps my brow color stick just a little bit better. So make sure that that's nice and blended in. And I like this one because it's not too, greasy is not the right word. It's not as slick. Like I know that the Urban Decay Primer Potion is very popular. I'm not a fan of that one. I feel like it moves around on my lid. My skin just doesn't like it. I like this one because it has a slight stick to it that I like, that I feel like it helps grab the shadows better. Yeah, there's a few that I like, but this one is, the NARS is definitely my favorite. And then I'm also going to prep my lips. I want to use a Longwear lipstick today. I've been trying some out, testing some out. We're going to use the good old CoverGirl Outlast. This is the one that comes with the 2 pieces. It's been around so long, right? But we're going to use that today. So I want to make sure my lips are hydrated so that they don't get too dry. And I'm trying out the Ilia Lip Wrap Hydrating Mask. I got a sample of this a little back with a Sephora order. So I'm just gonna get a little of that on my lips. Get them all nice and hydrated while I'm doing the rest of my face here. Okay. And now my face is all prepped for my makeup. So I like to start with my eyebrows because I like that frame there for how I'm going to color my eyes, right? So we're going to do, I've been trying a few different techniques for brows, you know, some different ways that I like to do it. So I'm going to use today the Tarte Sketch and Set. I've seen different reviews. Some people really hate this. Some people really like it. Some people are just meh about it. It's just, okay. I really like it. I think different skin and different brow textures of what you've got there going on are going to determine, you know, what kind of brow products you like, you know, how you like to do your brows. So because my brows are so light, I do like to darken them up with this tinted brow gel that it has on the one end first, before I go in and do my pencil. I used to do my pencil first. Now I like to do it this way. I find it gives just a little different effect. You know, just playing with some new things. So I'm just going over the hairs that are there. And you can see as I do this, how they darken up, and you can see that I do have hair there. I do shape the hair that grows. I like to just shave the underside here where, you know, you get some that grow weird or whatever. I like to groom them into the shape that I want, but you can see what a difference just that makes to the face, right? So this is my first step in my little makeup routine. I wouldn't call this a glam full face. You know, it's a full face of makeup for most people. It's just kind of a play thing for me. You know, it's all the things that I like to do. It's fun. I enjoy makeup. It's my outlet. It's my thing that makes me feel good. It's my thing that I enjoy doing. It's creative. It's relaxing. I just enjoy it. And you don't have to, but thought I'd share. So there we have my brows with just the gel. So I'm going to leave them like that while I get the rest of my eye makeup on. So then now that that part's done, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do my eyes. I like to do my eyes first because it's easier to clean up when I don't have the rest of my face done. And the eyes are it for me, you know, they're the ones I like to focus on the most. So I'm going to be using some Urban Decay shadows. These are some of their single shadows. Some of these are still available, some of them are not. I know they're changing things up with their singles, but these are some of their single eyeshadows. When I had to get rid of my Naked 2 palette, which was my absolute favorite, they don't make it anymore, but they did have some of the shades in that palette in single form. So I got some of those, and then I have a few others that were favorites. So I'm gonna use this one today because I feel like it, because it'll be fun. Right, so let's see. I'm gonna go into, we're gonna take this color right here, this matte kind of taupey color. This is the color Tease, right? I'm gonna go into that one with my Refer #1 brush. It's kind of a nice, fluffy, just all over shadow brush. And I'm gonna sweep that all over the lid. I like to just play with my makeup. So I'll kind of just start, you know, look at the colors and go, what do I want to do to my eye today? And just kind of play and color and shade and all of those things. You know, you don't necessarily have to do that. You can always do the same shapes if you want. You can always do the same types of colors in the same places, but this is what I like to do. I like to play. So I want this taupey color all over my lid, and you can see I'm kind of buffing and pressing and sweeping to get that a nice even coverage all over the lid, corner to corner and up. You can see with my eyebrows raised, I bring it pretty high. That's because my eyes are starting to sag as I age, right? And so when I bring them down, you need to be able to see that. So if I don't bring it all the way up here, if I just bring it to where the crease is, you would lose it, right? You wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm bringing it up a little bit higher so that it shows where the crease is when my eyes are relaxed, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I am feeling some purples today. So I'm gonna go into Roach and Rockstar. This one here is Roach. This one is Rockstar. This Roach color is kind of a bronzy color, but you can see it has a very slight purplish undertone to it. So I'm gonna come into that one. Let's see, I want to do that. I think I want to do that with kind of outer V crease kind of thing. So I'm going to take my Esom, which number is this? I always forget. My Esom S35, it's a crease brush, into Roach. And again, I'm going to start with my eyes open and just kind of mark where I want to see it. And then I'll stretch my eye out to better get in there and buff it in. This color has a bit of shimmer to it, so I'm bringing it down in this angle here from the end of the crease down in and across the crease here. Not all the way into the corner, but most of the way. Of course it's garbage day, and that's, so hopefully I was able to cut enough of that noise there for you. So the Roach color we're going into here with right in that crease there. I stretch my eyes out so I can get into all of those spots and not have to skip over the wrinkles. It's funny, you always hear people talk about how your face changes and all of that when you get older, but until you experience it and realize what exactly that means, you know, it's very different, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like this eyelid here wrinkles quite a bit more, like you can see a lot more creasing right here than on this side. You know, everybody's face is asymmetrical. It is what it is. Okay, so I like that. That's pretty. I think I want to use some of this pink. This is the color Free Love, this nice shimmery pink right here. I'm going to use some of that one on my Rephr number 2. It's this nice dense, shorter shadow brush. Okay, knock off the excess. And I'm going to put that in the center. Put a little bit of that color and light. And I think I'll bring it all the way into the corner. That's pretty. And I'm just kind of lightly skimming where it meets that roach color that I already put down. On both eyes here. All right, you want the blend between the two to be enough, but you don't want to muddy them up, right? So don't go too crazy. You want to concentrate the color where you want it to show up most, and then just kind of skim where they meet. Okay, and then I want to take the darker purple here, this Rockstar color, and I want to smudge that on the lash line. What kind of shape do I want to do for that? I think I just want this pencil brush. This is a Rephr one again, the Rephr number 3. It's a nice small pencil brush. So a pencil brush is a rounded brush, right? You can see how it's round. It's not a pinched brush that comes to a nice point. That's what a pencil brush is. So this is a nice good size one for my eye. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to just kind of lightly press and sweep that on the lash line for some definition there. And you can see I'm coming at it from underneath. I'm not coming at it up on top. I'm trying to really get it into the base of the lashes, right? I don't want it to sit on top of the lashes, then I'll have gaps because my lashes are so blonde and I'm pale. So you'll really, when I put my mascara on, you'll really see those gaps if I don't get it all the way in there. So it's really subtle right now, but we're gonna amp it up a bit. Don't you worry about that. Here we are with that color. Yeah. What do we think so far? That's kind of fun. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can find, because I had this color in a pencil. Let me see if I can find it here. Pull out my drawer of eyeliners. Can I find my Rockstar? I may have used it all up. Let's see. No, because they do make the Rockstar color in a eyeliner. I don't see it. I think I used it all up. Darn. Let's do this smoke color. So this color here, smoke, is kind of a matte gray brown. A little softer than black, not quite as rich as an espresso brown, if that makes sense. So I'm going to take that pencil, and remember, we sharpen our pencil every single time we use it. Yes, every single time. Make sure that it's sanitary and clean. You don't want anything getting in your eyes, right? So I'm going to smudge this on the lash line, and I'm going to do it in a tight line way, which means, again, I'm going to come from underneath and I'm going to really smudge it into the lash line. Now, I'm not getting it on the waterline. This part right here, that's not where I want it. I want it right in the lash line, right above that, right? So I'm going to look down into my mirror, right? You can see I'm raising my eyebrows real big. And I'm just going to wiggle this and smudge it. I'm not worried about making a line. I just want to get the color in between the lashes, right? All the way across. like so. And then I like a little bit of a lift at the outside, so I like to add a little bit more on top, right there on the outside, just to do a little wider at the end. Okay, and then I'm going to take my pencil brush, and I like to do this before I put the liner on the other eye so that it hasn't set down yet. I'm going to take my pencil brush and that Rockstar color, and I'm going to just smudge this line. I'm going to get that Rockstar color on top of that, and it'll give it more of that purple that I'm looking for. So this is just going to soften the line so it's not too harsh, and it's going to blur out any flubs that I made, right? Okay, so now we're going to go into the other eye. Look down into the mirror. Really get into that lash line. Some people find this easiest to do as far as the tight lining with a pencil. Some people find it easier to do with a brush. You know, try a few different things and see which you like best. I do have a video where I show how to do it both ways. I'll link that for you. Okay. And then I want a little bit more up top on the outside. It's just what I'm into. Okay, back into that Rockstar with my pencil brush and smudge that line all the way across. Get that purple on there that I want. You can see that just makes a nice soft color. Just kind of defines the lash line and adds more drama to the eye and makes your eyes stand out, makes them pop. Okay, so before I do the underside, I like to come in with a bit of concealer first. So as you can see, I don't have dark circles. I do have some discoloration out here on my eyes, and sometimes I'll have a little bit of darkness right in here, but I don't really, thank you Mom and Dad, I don't really have dark circles. You know, that's, genetics was kind to me on that one, right? But I do like to brighten that under eye area up because again, it draws attention to the eyes. It makes the focus be on the eyes, which is what I like. So today I am using the e.l.f. Flawless Brightening Concealer. It's this one here. It's one of those with the brush tip that you click to get the product to come out of the brush. It's a lighter weight concealer. It's definitely for brightening. It's not going to give you a lot of coverage. If you really want more full coverage under there to really conceal darkness and whatnot, this one's just purely for brightening and a little bit of color correction. So most of my discoloration is out here. So that's where I start. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of dot that out here. You can see I'm not using very much. And then I'm going to bring it just in here where I see a little bit of shadow, right? That's all that I need. And then you can use your fingers or a sponge or whichever your preference is. I have been really digging using a brush lately. So this is the one I'm going to use. It's the Real Techniques, what is it called? I'm blind. Deluxe Crease Brush is what it's called. It's the number, what is that number? I'm so blind without my glasses. Real Techniques 300. So this came in a set. It was an eye set. These two came together in a set. This is way too big for my eye. I don't like it for that, but I love it for blending out concealer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start blending that. I'm going to use a stipple motion right where I placed the color. Yeah, just like this. Notice I haven't blended them together yet. So you can see what that did already without me blending it across. And then I'm just going to kind of use circular motions around the edges and where it meets my eyeshadow and just kind of blend the two together. Those two spots together so that it's a continuous brightening across. Yeah, can you see the difference there? I hope you can. Right, so we're going to stipple where we want the most concentration of coverage. Yeah, up in here. And blend the edges. Don't forget where it meets your eyeshadow. Now, I like to blend the brow bone with a skin tone color. So this, the eyeshadow here that I've got placed, right, the crease color, I like to blend that into the brow bone with a skin tone color. And today I am going to use, sorry for the noise of the drawers, this is the Bare Minerals Concealer in Well Rested. This color works well for me. It's brightening without being too white. So it's not going to emphasize this and make it look too prominent. It's just going to blend the two together. And I'm going to use the Real Techniques brush here. This is a nice fluffy brush. This is the base shadow brush is what they call it. This just goes to show you don't have to use it for what they say it's for, but it helps if you're new. So I think this is the 401. It could be the 301. I can't quite tell. I don't have my glasses on. Okay. So I'm going to knock a little bit of the powder here. It's a loose powder into my lid. I don't know if you can see that I use hardly any. And I'm going to get that on my brush, knock off any excess, and I'm just going to blend on the brow bone here where it meets the eyeshadow. So it's not too white. It's a nice skin tone, right? So can you see how that just kind of blends things together, makes it look seamless? Here we go on the other side. It's going to take away that harsh line from the shadow, right? We don't want harsh lines. I like a nice soft look to the eye. Okay, now you may have noticed that I have not set the under eye concealer yet. I like it to set up just a little bit and really get into the skin before I go over it with any powder. You don't have to use a powder. I like to use just a smidge, just to take away any tackiness and just to really make it last. So I'm going to press my fingers on top, make sure that there's no creasing, make sure it's nice and into the skin. And today I am going to use the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powder. This is in the shade Light. This is a really nice powder for setting, oops, sorry about that, for setting under the eye. Okay, and I'm going to take the same brush, that I just used for the brow. I'm going to clean it off on my towel here, make sure I don't have too much of that well-rested color. And I'm going to get some of it on my brush, just a barest little bit. Knock it off. So there's hardly anything there. And I'm just going to lightly sweep on that concealer. And especially since I'm going to come into this area with some eyeshadow, I don't want the eyeshadow to stick to whatever wetness is there from the concealer. So doing this will help keep it from sticking if I do get any fallout from that. Okay, very lightly, gentle, light hand. This powder has a nice blurring effect, which is why I like to use it under the eye. I believe it's a talc-free formula, but I'll have to look at the ingredients. They're not on this packaging. They were on the box, but not on this packaging. For the under eyes, you want to try and go for a formula that does not have talc in it. Talc will settle into fine lines. So in order to prevent that, especially on the under eye, and especially as you get older, I'm just tapping over this with the warmth of my finger so that the powder's really in there. Nice. Talc. You don't want to use a talc because it will settle into fine lines. On the under eye, that is particularly on the under eye, that is particularly important. That's a hard word to say. Who knew? Okay, so I'm going to finish the under eye. So I'm going to come back into my pencil brush. I'm going to clean that off. I'm using a color switch here for that one because I really want to make sure I get all that off. Okay, and then I'm going to come into the roach color, right? So this kind of mid tone color that we did. And I'm going to sweep that from this outer edge here under the eye about halfway across. And I want to make sure I connect the edges out here. You see where I'm talking about connecting here? The upper and lower, connect that area. We're going to clean that up in just a second. And then I'm going to do the other eye here, about halfway across, right? Connect the two. Okay, and then I'm going to take that brush that I used to blend the brow bone and to apply the powder under. I'm going to use that to blend the edge of that shadow out here so that it's nice and blended. Now sometimes I like to take dark, right? So I'll continue this dark liner that I've got going on top. Sometimes I'll do that top and bottom. Sometimes I won't. Just depends on my mood. Today I kind of like this. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to make sure that in here is blended because we only took the color halfway across. So I'm just using, you know, this is pretty much gone. Maybe there's a teensy bit left on the brush, but I'm just blending the edge towards the tear duct there. Like so. Okay. Make extra sure we're blended. That looks good. Okay, so for some extra setting on the under eye, I like to then press in a little bit of setting spray on top of it, a hydrating setting spray on top of it. Today I'm using the Collab one. I found that it's, ooh, sorry about that, I dropped it. I found that it's nice and hydrating. So I'm just taking a velour puff. This is the Blendiful. You know, you don't have to use this one. Any velour puff or sponge will do, right? This is the Juno & Co. Sponge. That's kind of fuzzy. That one works well too. You know, whatever you like to use. So I'm just going to spray this. Let it set on there. And then I'm going to press on top of that under eye concealer. And this is going to bring hydration to that area so that it doesn't look too dry or crepey. It's going to set the color and the powder that I put down there. Right, so everything looks nice and natural and finished. I prefer a pretty natural skin finish. The only time I ever really do a full coverage is when I'm performing, so because of the lights and such. So next I am going to go into, so the eyes are done except for mascara. I always do that one last. I'm going to go into my complexion. So today I wanted to do a little bit of underpainting. So what that is just means is color that you've applied under your foundation. So I'm going to do some blush with the Flower Blush Balm in Melon is this color. So I'm going to take this, and I've got my little palette here that I use. This is just a little like jewelry dish, right? You can use any kind of easily cleanable, preferably non-porous surface that you like. I know some people are making some really pretty things, or you can get, you know, the traditional steel palettes. That's what I use as a makeup artist in my kit, but you can use whatever you like. But having a palette is very, very handy, especially with liquid products. So I'm going to put a little drop on my palette. You can see that's hardly anything. You don't need very much with this. Okay, I'm going to put my cap on so it doesn't dry out. And then I'm going to take a smaller stipple brush. So this is the Royal & Langnickel Omnia BOM 255. It's a stipple brush. So it's a duo fiber brush. So what duo fiber brushes are is that you have two different textures of the brush, and you can see that there are two different lengths as well, and they're evenly mixed together. So this creates a nice blend in your stippling that you're using, and these are particularly good for liquid and cream blushes, right? So traditionally you'll have the natural hairs are the shorter ones and the synthetic hairs are the longer ones, but they have started making these in all synthetic as well. But you should still see a rougher textured hair on the short and a smoother texture on the long. This one I like, it's a good size, the 255. You can get bigger ones, like this is the Morphe M406. You can see the size difference. This one's better for the whole face, right? So yeah, just look for something that's nice for a cheek, right? It fits that well. So I'm going to get the color on here, and that's what's nice about a palette, is you can really kind of blend it into get it evenly dispersed on your brush. And then I'm going to place it on my cheekbone where I want my blush. And you can see I'm using that stippling motion, which is just this tap, 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 tap. And I'm gonna leave it kind of strong because I'm going over it with a foundation. And I'm gonna use a powder foundation today. I love powder foundations, especially when I've got my tinted sunscreen or moisturizer on. I just like the finish of it because I like the healthy glow that I get from a tinted moisturizer or tinted sunscreen. But I want a little bit of mattifying, especially in the center. So, because I do tend to be oily, although I'm not as oily as I used to be in my youth. Okay, so I want to blend it so that it's not harsh, but the strong color, excuse me, is still good because again, we're going over it with a foundation. Okay, so that's our blush. Get things out of my way here. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my foundation. And today I decided to use a mineral powder foundation. I love mineral foundations. Now, what's the difference? Most people ask. The difference is that the properties of the foundation, the color of the foundation, all comes from more raw minerals. So you have less of the processing, less of the man-made chemicals, natural chemicals, you know, natural and man-made. Man-made doesn't mean it's bad. Minerals, the mineral makeup, the way it works on the skin, I think is just beautiful. I love the way that it wears on the skin. When you first apply it, you may think, oh, that's too matte. But then you'll notice in an hour or two that the oils from your skin have really meshed with it really beautifully, and you get this gorgeous natural finish. So I really like mineral powders. And one of my favorites is made by Jane Iredale. This is their Pure Pressed Mineral Foundation. This is in the shade Warm Sienna. One of the things that I really like about Jane Iredale is that their packaging is refillable for their foundations and their bronzers, right? So this compact, you only have to buy it once. And then you just buy the refill. It's got a little hole here on the back. You just pop it out. And this is the part that you buy to refill, right? And this metal tin is recyclable. So I love that. I think less waste, it just makes sense, right? And they've been doing that since they came out with this product. They've always done that, so that's really nice. So for this, I like to use either a brush or a flocked sponge. A flocked sponge is the kind that feels fuzzy, right? That's going to give you the most coverage with this kind of product. Today, I don't want a full coverage. I want just kind of a light to medium. So I'm going to use this flat-topped kabuki brush. This happens to be the Jane Iredale one, the handy brush, but any flat-topped, fluffy kabuki brush will work. Okay, I'm going to get that on my brush here, and I'm going to come in the areas where I want the most coverage. So I'm going to start on the forehead, because if I do go outside the house today, I'm going to be wearing a mask, so I don't need a lot of coverage on this part of my face, even though that's traditionally where I need the most coverage, because that's where I have the most redness. This is not a formula that you have to buff into the skin. There are some mineral foundations that you buff into the skin. This one is so finely milled that if you buff it into the skin, you'll start breaking down the colors even more, and you'll notice a greenish tinge. So you don't need to buff it. You just sweep it on. And you can see that the blush, as I'm putting this over the top, it's just kind of this nice glow underneath the blush. Now I don't bring it all the way up to the eye, but I want to blend between where I had that concealer and the edge of this foundation. Yeah. And I'm feeling springy today, so we're going to do a little bit of bronzer. I don't always do bronzer. It's not favorite, but sometimes I'm feeling it. So this one is new to me, although it's not new on the market. This is the Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder in the shade Sunkissed. That's what it looks like there. That's a nice neutral color for me. And I want a nice big fluffy brush. I like more of a tapered brush, but something big and fluffy. I'm going to get that on my brush here, load it up, knock off the excess. Whew, that's a lot of powder. And I start up here at the peaks of my forehead, right? Because I want to kind of shade that area and make it less pronounced. So I focus it at the hairline, right? You put your bronzer where the sun kisses the face the most, which is going to be obviously forehead. So I'm bringing a little bit above the eyebrows, but I'm not doing the whole face, right? And then I'm going to bring it in my C shape here. So slightly under where I put the blush and up onto the forehead. Okay, so my battery died in the middle of that. So hopefully I got things back to where they were. Okay, I was putting on bronzer when we died. So I want a little bit more. Where did I put my bronzer? There it is. So I want to put a little bit more just across the bridge of my nose, right? Don't forget that area when you're bronzing. You know, the sun definitely hits this area of the face. So just a little bit, I want just right across here. You know, you can even do a W shape like this to get that area. Chin. That's pretty. I like that. Makes me feel like I've been outside. But not too much because, you know, I'm pale as all get out, so I don't tan easy. I burn, that's what I do. So there we have our bronzer. Okay, so I am going to come in and I want a little bit of shimmer on the blush. I'm not a big highlight person, like a highlighter, shimmery highlighter specifically, but I like a good shimmer to my blush. So I'm more of a blush topper type of person when it comes to shimmer on the cheeks. And I feel like this finish with this foundation and what I've got going on is giving me kind of a nice glow, but I want just a little bit on the cheeks out here. So this is the Flower Beauty Flower Pots Powder Blush, and this is in the shade Warm Hibiscus, which is a similar color to the NARS Orgasm color. So it's that nice peachy pink with that kind of gold shift to it. It's really pretty. It's very flattering on most skin tones. So I'm going to take my favorite Sonia Kashuk blush brush, get that on my brush, and I'm just going to lightly sweep it on the cheekbone, just for that little bit of shimmer out here. It's not a super pigmented blush, so it's not adding too much to that underpainting that I did with that other color. It's just giving that little bit of a shimmery glow. Right? I think that's pretty. I like it. Okay, so we're going back to the brows now. So we look at the eye makeup with the brows that we've got going on, and I want just a little bit more definition. So there's a few gaps that I need to fill in. So that same product, the Tarte Sketch and Set. Oh, I forgot to tell you, this is in the color taupe. That's the color that works for me. Another reason why I like brow products that I like is finding the right color, right? So I'm going to take the pencil end, which you can see is a nice tiny pencil, and I'm just gonna start filling in some of these gaps, which for me are mostly up here, right? I just want to define this shape a little bit more, the top of the arch there. I feel like the tail's looking good today. And a little bit on the inside. Right. What I like about doing the brow gel first is it shapes everything. You know, it shapes the hairs that are there and holds them in place. And when you have pale hair like I do, the tinted gives you a lot of that definition without in a more natural finish than the pencil. Right? I do love a good drawn in penciled eyebrow, but it's just a different kind of look. And I've been trying to try new things lately. So there we go. I'm happy with that. Okay. And now I'm going to come in with some mascara. Which one do I want to use today? Let's use... So on the top, I'm going to use the new Lancome mascara. So this is the Lancome Cils Booster XL. It's a primer. And then I'm going to use, this is the new Lancome Lash Idole. It's this one. These are the mini sizes. These are not the full sizes. I like to try minis when I'm first trying something new so I can see if I like it or not. They cost less and, you know, you don't have to use up as much. It's not as wasteful. So we're going to start with the primer. This is just going to add bulk and conditioning to my lashes. I don't have a lot of lashes. They're pretty sparse and short. So I need all the help I can get. Okay, get that in there. And if you have longer lashes or darker lashes, you may notice this product more because you can see that it's white. So you may notice more of this going on, whereas on mine you can't really see it as much because my natural lashes are very blonde. Okay. Then we're going to come in with our mascara. Okay, you can see the wand on that has kind of an unusual shape. It's the more plasticky wand rather than the fluffy bristled one. But the shape works really well. I was impressed with this one. I wasn't sure how well it would work on my stubbies, but it's working really well. So make sure you get into the base of your lashes, blink through so that you get them all coated as much as possible. There we are. It's a nice one. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Asymmetrical eyes, right? This eye, the lashes on this eye are different than the other eye, so it quite often needs a little bit more work. But there we have the top lash line done. And then on the bottom lash line, I like to use my Thrive Cosmetics liquid lash extensions. This is in the black, or not the black, the brown color. I like to use that on the bottom lashes. So this is a tubing mascara, so that will add length, but that also means that it's waterproof. So it's not going to smudge on me or flake, which I like for the bottom lashes. And I like a brown on the bottom when I've got a look that's not as dramatic, right? It's a little more subtle and soft for spring here, right? Get on those lashes, okay? And then I've got my eyelash curler all heated up here. So this part of the wand here heats up. You use this after mascara so that it holds. Because you're heating the mascara, you're warming it up to hold the curl in place. And then you just kind of press up so that your eyelashes go up. And just hold it for a few seconds. Really easy to use. You don't have to worry about clamping and getting things in there and getting your skin. And it's just, heated eyelash curlers have come a long way, let me tell you. They used to not do anything for me when I first tried them back in the 90s. But these new ones they're pretty good. And it definitely works best if you use it after mascara. Whereas a clamping eyelash curler you want to use before mascara so your lashes don't get stuck to it. A heated one you want to use after. This kind of heated one, like this wand kind, where you're not clamping the lashes. And there we have the lashes curled. They just so that they give me a little bit more definition. You still really have to look close, I know. I have short lashes. It is what it is. Right? Okay, and then for the lips. Lips are the last thing here. Let me wipe off the rest of that lip balm so we can get our longwear color on. Okay, so this is the CoverGirl. I think it's the color 621. I think that's what that says. And then, so what we're going to do is make sure there's not too much on the doe foot. Apply it bottom first. Smoosh the lips together. Then define that top lip line. Notice I did not go back for more. Diffuse what's on the brush. You want a nice light coat, or it will get funky. Then I like to blur the edges. And how I like to do that is I'll take my tissue and I'm going onto my lips, right? And I suck it in. like that so that it catches any extras. So you can see, hopefully, that's what that looks like. All right, so that just blurs the edges for me and gets off any excess. And then we're gonna let that set. And we're going to apply our setting mist. And when I do the final mist, I like to apply it with a brush rather than spraying on the face. So I'm gonna take a nice big dense brush, right? It's just a powder brush. Spray it on the brush and then just start tapping. And I'm gonna start in the center of my face because, you know, like I said, if I go out, I'm gonna be wearing a mask. So I wanna make sure that that area is nice and set in. And then I just tap, 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 tap. And this is a nice way of setting it into your makeup. Make sure it's all dry. The lips are dried down. Okay, and then we go on to the lips with the balm topper that it comes with, which definitely makes it more comfortable. And I'll let you know how it wears. I tend to, usually with these, I tend to get wear around the inside of the lip, right? This one shouldn't be as noticeable though because it's so close to my skin tone. So there we have it. Thanks for getting ready with me. I hope that you enjoyed this video, a little chatty, a little talk through how I like to do my makeup. Like I said, I just wanted to play and just have a little fun today. I hope that you are having a great day, and don't forget to click the like button and subscribe if you would like to see more of my videos. Bye.